Hello everybody and welcome back, and the party are here outside the central tower, and in front of them are two massive bronze doors 20 feet high. They were guarded by 5 hobgoblins, now dead. We don't have any healing spells left. Carrick and Sylvia have used up their dose of Staff of Healing, and Sylvia has a new longsword +2 with the healing spell in it that's also been used. So there is nothing else to do but enter inside. And the party are met with this small vestibule or entrance hall, and strewn about the entrance hall are 5 straw mattresses with animal skins that the hobgoblins use as bedding. In front of us is a closed door. Liz will listen for any noises. She doesn't hear anything, so the party walk in, and they find themselves in a large chamber which is about 60 feet by 60 feet. There are 2 statues in the corners, and these are statues of jackal-headed men in robes. This has been a common feature. We have seen them as murals on walls in crypts, and we have seen one in the werewolf lair. And here are 2 more. There are 3 doors, here, here, and here, and 2 curtains. But I shall read up more. Now, this area is called Black's headquarters. The marble walls and tiled floor of this chamber are dulled with age. The statues of jackal-headed men, staring blindly from their plinths by the walls, are robed in dust, and the fountain in the centre of the room has dried up and filled with rubbish. The place seems abandoned, but a low growl from behind a curtained partition warns you otherwise. That does not apply here, because there is an ice wolf here, and the ice wolf belongs to Flack. If you remember the guy from the front cover who we killed, along with his ice wolf. So we will search the room, and we find some more gold in and around the statues. When we pull back the curtains, we find 2 more doors. Remember, from the party's point of view, these doors could open up into anywhere. So Liz will listen at one. She doesn't hear anything, so we open it and we see a spiral staircase that leads upwards. But there are 2 other doors here, and we should check them out before we start climbing stairs, and Stephen might be here or here. So what happens when Liz listens at this door? Now she does hear something. She hears a sound they have all heard before. It is that clicking, ticking sound of a tough exoskeleton. There's something in here, and it might be giant beetles. Do we go in? Yes, of course we do. And we go downwards into a basement, and in this basement, all around we see rows and rows of bookshelves with dusty, tattered, mouldy books and scrolls, brittle enough to fall apart when touched. The place is also strewn with cobwebs. That, and along with the noise that Liz heard, suggests that this room is filled with spiders. One spider, we're told, attacks the party when they enter, and this is a black widow spider, and this is seriously bad news, because they do have a poison attack. Interesting to note that the poison attack doesn't kill, it does 4d4 damage if you fail saving throw, so it's been greatly alleviated from death. Right, well, let's roll for initiative. It's been some time since we saw Black Widow Spider. We did come across some outside the keep on the borderlands. That one came wandering past at night, and we rolled a reaction roll for it, and the reaction was it left us alone. We're told this one attacks, and it gets initiative. Now is it going to go for Donard or Carrick? To remind you, Donard is the blue dice, Carrick is the red dice, and whoever scores lowest is the target. And that's Donard. Right, so this spider does 2d6 damage anyway, even without the poison. And luckily it misses him. Right, our go. Liz and Sylvia, -2 Xitaqa penalty for the fact the boys are in the way. They have to shoot really between their shoulders. And Liz gets a 13 in effect, and that is enough to hit AC 6, and she does 4 damage. This spider is down to 10. Sylvia, she hits as well. She does 3 points of damage. The spider is down to 7. Donard, who didn't like this big thing leaping up at him. Ah yes, put paid to this spider with 1 smash, and I think once we look at the dead body and we look at the cobwebs, we're going to back out of here. If Stephen is in here, he has long been dead, so we're going to back out and close the door, and that's that room sorted. Right, so that room was not all that it was cracked up to be. There is another door here. Let's listen at this one. And Liz does not hear anything. We open it and it goes down some more stairs with another door at the bottom. And again, there is nothing to hear, so we open it and we find ourselves in what is obviously a crypt. It looks like classic catacombs with alcoves in the walls, long narrow alcoves where you would either lay a mummified body or a coffin. But all of these are empty. If this ever was used as a crypt, the bodies are gone, or perhaps it was never used as a crypt. Are they going to go in further to investigate, or will they turn back and realise this is not worth investigating? I'll do a percentage roll, and if they roll 50% or less, then they continue. And that's a 76, so no, they leave and go back into the main room. I won't spoil what's in this room. So they're left with these doors here and the spiral staircase upwards onto the next level. And they come up these stairs here, and this room is called the dormitory. Like the room on the floor below, this one appears to be unoccupied. It is a dormitory of some kind, with neat austere beds against each wall. Above each bed hangs a pair of iron manacles on a chain. Strangely, these are polished to a dull shine. Right, okay. I think Liz looks at the manacles above the bed and gives a wink to Sylvia and giggles, but Sylvia, who's rather innocent, doesn't get the joke. Donard does, and again he just glares and rolls his eyes at Liz. Okay, there are 8 beds in all. Well, I'm going to up that to 11, and we can remember that we did find 11 members of the Iron Ring who met us on horseback. And we're told that one of the beds, when we investigate, looks to be slightly more comfortable and a bit more sturdy than the others, and it has a foot locker at the end of it. Let our thief check this foot locker for traps. She doesn't find any traps. Donard goes to open it, but it's locked. Can she unlock it? And she can. Her open locks is 45 and she throws a 43. Well done. Gingerly they open it with the point of a sword. It is not trapped. But inside there is 150 gold pieces and a silver belt worth 75 gold pieces. And there's also a suit of leather armour, a sword and a short bow, and 15 arrows. We know that manacles are the tattoo symbol of the Iron Ring, and so yes, this seems to be their bed, though the real life manacles above the bed seem to be taking it a bit too far. There's nowhere to go but listen at this door. And Liz doesn't hear anything, but considering how symmetrical the room is, and considering that we know from looking at the outside that there's at least a couple more stories, we're quite correct in assuming that these are more stairs upward, and sure enough, we go up to the next floor, and now what waits us there? So the party come up these stairs and listen at this door. And sure enough, Liz does hear voices. She hears the voices, a rather snidey, snivelling, high-pitched voice talking to somebody, and they seem to be quite angry, and the other person seems to be rather, well, fatigued and deflated. She can't understand what's being said, but all of a sudden, the voices stop. So the party enter into this room, and it appears to be utterly empty, but as soon as Donard and Carrick cross this threshold, they disappear. Liz, Sylvia and Malin can still be seen in the stairwell, and a disembodied voice says, "Watch out," though watch out for what? And then this door opens, and for a brief second they see a robed figure, and that robed figure disappears upstairs. So yeah, it's hard to describe. The room is utterly empty. Donard and Carrick have become invisible, and something can get surprise on them on a roll of 1 to 4. And it does. Now does it hit? And it hits like a truck. Firstly, who will it go for? And it picks on little Carrick. And it misses him. Well, again, a hit roll hits, but it doesn't get through the armor. So yes, Carrick feels a clunk of something on his shield, but it doesn't hit him. Now this room, it's not described how it is lit. 2 members of our party do have infravision. Now there must be light from somewhere. There must be daylight coming in. And the invisible voice says, "Watch out." Now this is a human voice. Let's roll for round number 1. And let's see where this fight takes us. And it gets initiative, so it gets another attack. And this time it hits, and it does 4 damage. Carrick's down to 25. Carrick feels the blow, and it knocks him backward towards the stairs, and briefly, for a second, he is visible. Archery first. Now there's something that's attacking Carrick. Can Liz get a shot in? And she does. Whatever it is, she manages to hit it for 7 points. Can Sylvia get a shot in? This thing, when it's invisible, has an AC of 0, and she just hits AC 0, but does just 2 points. Now as soon as the arrows fly into the room, they become invisible. Now we have a spells round. Malin is going to cast haste on Carrick, since he's the one being attacked. Right, so that is my haste spell used up. And bless. Right, this is where, so there's a condition to bless. And the condition is, it will only affect creatures in a 20-foot area, and only those who are not yet in melee. Carrick has not yet struck. He is being attacked, but he is not yet in melee. So I'm going to say that bless will work on him. So Donard is casting bless. I'm going to have to write that there because I constantly forget that I have cast bless. So that is now Carrick's turn in melee, and he gets 2 attacks on this invisible creature, which gives a snorting bellow that we have heard before. And his first attack definitely hits, and it does 7 points of damage. This thing definitely bellows. And his second hit hits AC. Well, because of the bless, that's an 11, that's his Xitaqa. So he does indeed hit. And he does 8 plus 5 is 13, and this creature is dead. Well done spellcasting, and well done bless. Does the enchantment wear off when this creature dies? No, the invisibility still holds. So what happens is they hear the cry of this creature, and they hear the thump of its very large body as it hits the floor. And this disembodied voice from the middle of the room says, "Quick, get Golthar, get the magic user, go up the other stairs." Now we recognise this voice because we met Stephen right at the very beginning of this adventure when he was the one who gave us the whole task of going to Xitaqa to sell the horses before we got jumped on the boat. so we have found Stephen, but he urges us quick, go up the stairs. So we have to run up the next flight of stairs to this room here. Now it has been pointed out that this room, the design of it has a slight flaw. And the flaw is that the magic user Golthar is meant to be able to run around the perimeter of the room, hiding behind this wall here and looking through these small apertures here. However, if you notice that there are blocks here and here, so I'm going to assume there are small apertures here that he can squeeze through, and they may be covered by a curtain, but they're of no apparent interest to the party. The party get up to the top of these stairs and find this door locked. Golthar has locked it behind him. Can Liz unlock the door? And can she do it quickly? Yes, she rolls a 9. So even though the imperative is there to hurry, she still opens it with ease. That's 2 locks in a row our thief has opened. So they burst into this room here, and this is called an art gallery. Such a gallery of faded glories, flaking portraits gaze out from dusty frames into a sullen room whose only occupants are a pair of pink jackal-headed sculptures frozen forever in attitudes of contempt. Okay, there's a lot going on in this room. While Liz was trying to unlock the door, Malin has cast Shield upon himself. So that's that spell gone. The party rush into this room. They see the 2 statues and they see these large portrait oil paintings hanging on the wall, but there is no magic user. And there apparently at the minute doesn't seem to be any other exit. Might he be invisible? Well, they don't have time to think about that because they hear a command word being uttered and these 2 statues suddenly jerk into life. The haste spell is still working. The bless spell is still working. So that was Golthar's surprise round. Let's roll for initiative. And the 2 statues get initiative. They have got quite a good Xitaqa and they do 1d6 damage each. Twice. They have 2 attacks. I suppose those are 2 fists. The 2 on Donard both miss. They will need a 17 to hit. And the 2 on Carrick, one hits him for 5 points. I should have done Golthar. He is going to cast a spell and he is going to cast Sleep. The only person we have who is level 4 is Sylvia. If Golthar rolls 2 or a 3, then Sylvia is not put to sleep. And he rolls an 8 and Sylvia falls asleep in the doorway. Right. So it's our go. Missile attack. Liz is going to shoot a statue. She doesn't realise yet they are immune to non-magical weapons. She would miss anyway. Right, Donard. Now we're told that these statues can only be hit by magical weapons, and any magical weapons lose their magical bonuses. He has a Warhammer +1, so he loses 1 to hit and damage. The Bless spell gives him 1 to hit and damage, so in effect he is back to normal. Well, yeah, as he hits his kneecaps, he is definitely back to normal. Carrick gets 2 attacks, and he will do 2 attacks on 1 statue. His sword +2 loses its +2, so his Xitaqa was 13 and he does 12 +2 damage. Ah yes, and look at that, both of those hit. He does 13 damage and 3 damage, that's 16 damage. They have 16, and with 1 go, 1 statue is dead. Round number 2. And it's mutual, so we do missiles first. Again, Liz is going to try in vain to shoot a statue. And again she misses. Sylvia is asleep. We have spells. Our only spellcaster is Malin, who has got sleep, web and invisibility, and he is in no position to cast web, as that will actually trap Donard and Carrick. He can try and throw a throwing dagger. He has about 4 of these, and he does pick them up after a fight is over. He has a dagger +2, but he does not want to throw that one. And he hits. The dagger bounces off and does no damage. Right, so everybody clocks on that these are immune to normal unmagical weapons. So it's the spells round, and it's Golthar again, and this time he's going to cast Hold Person. Now both, this might affect everybody. I'll roll for Carrick's saving throw. He fails. I'll roll for Donard's. And he succeeds because he gets a +3 bonus due to his high wisdom. So Donard succeeds. Malin, he succeeds. And Liz, 13. She fails. Well, we have our own counter spells, and Donard is going to cast Hold Person in reverse, which is a remove paralysis. I will double check on that. The reverse of this spell is Free Person, removes the paralysis of up to 4 victims of normal form of the spell, including 1 cast damage. It has no other effect. So Donard is going to cast Free Person on both Carrick and Liz. So that's that spell gone. Carrick's go. He was momentarily blacked out. No, I'm going to take all that back because that was a mutual round. There's no way that Donard would cast Free Person on the same instance that Golthar cast Hold Person. So no, Donard is going to go for his melee round. He has to wait until next round to free the others. So there's 1 statue left on him. And he does a massive 9 points of damage. The statue's down to 7. Does the statue attack him? And indeed it does, and it does 3 points of damage off him. Right, now we're on to round number 3. Let's roll for initiative. And they get initiative again. Right, so it's their spells round. Golthar is going to cast Magic Missile on Malin, and he can cast 3 of them. And they're pathetic. So he does a grand total of 8 damage. Because Malin has shield up, again, this is a new effect for us. We haven't come across this. One of the effects of shield is that if a magic missile is shot at a magic user protected by this spell, the magic user may make a saving throw versus spell, 1 saving throw per missile. If successful, the magic missile will have no effect. So let's roll saving throws against the red and blue dice. He fails that one. And let's roll against the yellow dice. He fails that. So Malin has 8 points taken off him. Melee round again. And this statue, yep, hits Donard for 3 points. He's down to 22. Right. Right now, Donard was going to cast Free Person. He can't cast Free Person because his spell has just been disrupted by that hit. So it's our melee round, and Malin, who's just been blasted by a magic missile, is going to shake Sylvia awake, even if it means giving her a slight jab in the shoulder with his dagger. He's just going to shake her awake. He should have done that last round. Sylvia is going to wake up this round. We have round number 4, and our poor dwarf who has got haste on him is still frozen. Right, let's see who has initiative. And it's mutual. Now we still can't tell where these magic spells are coming from, because the first one came from here, the next one came from here, and the next one came from here, as Golthar is running around the place. Sylvia has woken up. She's going to try and shoot this statue. And, well, thankfully, she does massive hits and damages and kills the statue. So the statues are dead. How long will Carrick be held for? 9 turns, so we can do nothing for a while. But we hear footsteps as somebody runs around the perimeter, and then we hear some maniacal laughter and footsteps running upstairs, but we can't see this person, nor can we see the stairs. Donard is bad-tempered and angry as always, is going to go over and he's going to attack one of the oil paintings, and sure enough, he puts his hammer through it and he finds this alcove behind it. And he realises that this is where the spellcaster has come from, and he finds this passage here. How does Golthar get from here to here? We have to assume that he can run through these walls. That clearly isn't the case. The party still have to find this secret door. If Donard has found this corridor, he can't find. This has not been well thought out, because Donard cannot find the little passages which would allow Golthar to get from here to here. It's much easier to say that Golthar just stayed here, and somehow he managed to get up these stairs, and however he did it, Donard can't find that way. So we have about 9 turns to wait for Carrick and Liz to come out of their paralysis. This gives everybody plenty of time to look for the secret doors as to where this mage has come from. And on our first go, both Sylvia and Malin find the secret door here. They open it up, and sure enough, they see the stairs going up, but they have nothing to do but wait for the paralysis to be removed. We can use the Staff of Healing, and so let's use it on Donard and Malin. Okay, so Donard gets 5 points. He is up to 27. Malin gets 6 points. He is back up to 12. Now, are we going to run upstairs after him? Yeah, in many ways I think we have to, even though we're down 2 party members. So let's run upstairs to this one here, while Donard runs upstairs, impatient as always. In order to escape from this room, Golthar casts a fly spell and then activates a magical explosive device which blasts a hole in the wall. He then grabs his spellbook, flies out through the hole and casts a mirror image spell on himself. The adventurers hear the explosion as they start to ascend the stairs. When they reach the top, through the dust of the explosion, you see a gaping hole in the wall of the room. Through it, you can see 4 yellow-robed figures flying through the air into the distance. Here the party, and Golthar, through the dust, is flying away. Right, and as the dust settles, we can take a look at the furnishings. Right. Golthar's room is comfortably but distastefully furnished, with a bed made from splayed jaws of a dragon badly damaged by the explosion, a triangular table of green-stained oak, and 2 orange wooden chairs carved to resemble crouching humanoids. On the wall hangs a map showing the positions of the ruined homesteads. In his hurry to escape, Golthar left behind a lot of his treasures in an iron-bound chest, locked and untrapped. Okay, so Golthar has escaped in the most dramatic of ways. The party go back down here and wait for Liz and Carrick to be freed. Then the whole party go back up the stairs. They look outside the hole into the landscape beyond. Golthar has gone. They see the map of this area with the ruined homesteads marked on it. There's a chest. They'll also look on his table to see if there is any clues. So now the chest is locked. Can Liz unlock the chest? She fails to. Sylvia uses her knock spell, the only spell she has cast today, and unlocks it. Is there anything inside? Well, the answer to that question is yes. 2 large sacks with 5,555 gold pieces in each. That is 11,000 gold, which in coin weights is 1,100. How much of that can we take and distribute amongst ourselves? A potion of delusion, that's our second one. An amulet versus crystal balls and ESP. Well, we're going to have to determine that's magical later. A jeweled silver casket worth 1,400 gold with 15 gems, 1 times 5,000, 4 times 1,000 and 12 times 500. That's a massive XP dump. More than happy with that. The gold really belongs to the people of Sukiskin and the surrounding areas. They are going to have to rebuild their entire lives, so we'll try and take as much of that as we can. I will look at the encumbrance just to check on that. Remember, we do have horses, and horses can carry a lot. And then we find a small ebony box with a magical silver needle and a golden thread, which can be used to activate the tapestry. Now, we don't know what that is. A carved ivory scroll, not trapped. Inside it is an ancient Xitaqa scroll. It is fragile and must be handled carefully. It may be read by means of a reed languages or a thief of level 4 or above. 80% chance. Now Liz does not realise she can read languages. She was always good at languages. Well, she was always good at imitating people for making fun out of them. So all of this is going to have to happen next time when the party get back somewhere safe to Sukiskin. And we also have to rescue Stephen from the invisible room below. What we'll do is we'll end this session here and we'll wind up everything and get back to Sukiskin next time. So I'll see you then.